and welcome to another FAQ Monday. I am your host, Fluff, and it's cold out, man. It's like perpetual, fresh out of bed, stretchy kind of weather. It's like, last I checked, it was like 30 degrees out here in the great Northwest. It's cold. I know it's not as cold as some of you. I'm always going to get those comments going, well, it's -4 where I'm at. Okay, I'm just saying 30's a little cold for dad, okay? That's all I'm saying. Now into business. First question, active or passive reamp box? I can't say I've ever even seen a dedicated reamp box that is active. Now, most of the combination DI reamp boxes are active, like my Little Labs Red Eye 3D box, but most of the, if not all, of the reamp boxes that I have ever seen are passive. So I would say passive. If I'm using a dedicated reamp box, I usually will grab my Radial JCR, which is like the original John Colberti circuit or whatever it is. But it sounds fantastic, and that's all I know. And I love that thing, and I'll probably never get rid of it. But yeah, is there such a thing as active reamp boxes? I don't know, but stick with passive for now. What job would you be terrible at? Oh man, I would be terrible at most jobs, I feel like. Back in the day, I used to wash dishes at a really crappy diner in a real small town called Edgewood, Washington. And I was really bad at that job. I just didn't care. It's dishes. Put them in the thing, put them in the other thing, pull the lever. I was kind of bad at that job. I feel like I would also be bad at any kind of science because of the math involved. I liked math when I was younger, but to do it now, like to get back into it, anything with math I'd be really bad at. And I could think of a lot of things I would be bad at, actually. So it's easier to say which things I would be good at, which is working on cars and not playing guitar. I'm really good at not playing guitar. And when I play guitar, I'm not even that good. Yeah, I would be bad at most jobs. I think we'll just leave it at that. What's your best advice on keeping a whole project, like an album, sounding even and the same during mixing / tracking / mastering? This is an interesting question because I literally was just having this conversation 2 days ago with my good homie, Keith Marrow. And the reason why it came up is because I saw something he was working on. And hopefully Keith doesn't mind me telling you guys this. He had a single DAW session open, and it was sectioned off into the songs he was working on. So he had one project with, it was like 3 or 4 songs when I saw it. And I asked him, well, that's a little unusual. Why do you do that? And his answer was for sonic consistency. And that does make a lot of sense to me, although I kind of like the slight differences from song to song when I am mixing or mastering a record, and when I'm even tracking the record, because things will obviously change. If I'm using, a different guitar, or if I'm having the band that I'm tracking use a different guitar on a different song that's in a different tuning, it's gonna sound different anyway. So I have always kept each individual song per project, just because the track counts are usually totally different and things like that. Although with Keith, the thing that he was recording, it really lent itself to using a single project with multiple songs in that project. So, I don't see anything wrong with it as long as you're backing up as you should. Just use the same session, I guess. It sounds weird to say, but yeah, I guess use the same session if you're really worried about consistency. But for me personally, the differences between the songs are what make an album kind of an album. What would be your first question after waking up from being cryogenically frozen for 100 years? I would honestly probably ask, where is the bathroom? I really have to pee. I would imagine. I mean, unless they take care of that kind of thing when I'm frozen, then if so, I would ask if the world I am in, that I'm waking up in, still has pizza and a copy of Demolition Man. And now Fluff reads a tweet. What do mermaids wash their fins with? Tide. My suggestion to you this week is to check out this episode of the Joe Rogan Experience podcast with guest Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins. This podcast was an incredible insight to the music industry and kind of the history of the Smashing Pumpkins and Billy's take on a bunch of music industry things. And it's a really, really great episode. So I am highly recommending you guys go and listen to it. I think it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours long, something like that. Well worth your time. And if you're a Smashing Pumpkins fan on top of that, it's even more of a treat. All applicable links down below in the description. You've been wonderful. I have been Fluff. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.